everyone, welcome back to Drawn by Annie channel. This is me, Annie, and I will be drawing for you today. Grab your tea, coffee and snacks and let's dive into today's video. So today I'm going to work on a fan art request that I have received quite a while ago. I think I received it in June or like a couple of weeks ago, but it feels more like a couple of months ago. But anyway, a lovely person under the nickname of Breezy Sketch has asked me to draw a Natsume from Natsume's Book of Friends, and I will gladly do it because I want to draw more male characters. That's one thing, and also this show has been on my to watch list for a while, and I thought maybe doing fan art will help me start thinking where to put it in my schedule so I can start actually watching the show. Because from what I've seen online and the screenshots from the show and other fan arts, I think I will like it a lot because I see some things that will clearly inspire me on my own fantasy world. Because if you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I'm doing fantasy world and there also are spirits existing. And in the Natsume's Book of Friends, I think there are spirits that are existing in the world as well. So it would be a nice change of things to look at something comforting, because usually I don't watch comforting shows. I rarely watch any shows nowadays because adults, they have a lot of stuff to do. It would be nice to slow down and maybe brew a large pot of tea and binge watch the show, or like at least a couple of episodes, and see how it will go. By the way, I appreciate the suggestion, and if you have any other suggestions, let me know down in the comments. And while you're on it, I'm going to kinda explain what I'm planning to do with these fan arts. So as you can see, I have prepared the sketches in advance, and today I'm going to color them. And for the base color, I'm going to pick my usual art arsenal, which is alcohol-based markers and fine liners for the line art. I think I'm going to do some simple background coloring as well, just to fill up the page for it not to feel too empty, because I wanted to try a blending technique with two different colors that are not really analog colors, so it means that they are not next to each other on the color wheel. So I wanted to practice a little bit with the blending and see if I can do these nebula-like patterns with two colors, and I was thinking about something warm like yellow or pink or something like that. And the reason I want to practice this exact thing is that firstly I like nebula, and secondly the spirit theme in the anime is kinda associated with nebula. I don't know why, but whenever I think about the world of spirits or souls or afterlife, for some reason I think about nebula because it's an endless space. So I decided that this background would fit the character and the anime theme perfectly, at least in my associations. By the way, do you believe in spirits? Let me know in the comments. I was always fascinated by the theme of spirituality and afterlife and stuff like that. Even when I was a small kid, I think another show impacted me in this case because I loved watching Shaman King, and they are fighting together with spirits like in one team. So the shaman is wielding spirits power, and I thought that was super cool. So that show definitely impacted my vision on the spirits and stuff like that. And I think ever since then I thought that spirits kinda exist, but I cannot tell for sure. I always wanted them to be. So I think that's nice to think about an afterlife, like there is something out there after we are done with our lives in this world, and there is something else to come and to wait for. So yeah. With this close-up of Natsume's face, I wanted to make it more in my style with all the little extra lines on the eyes and cheeks. And I originally wanted to color the left sketch firstly because it's more mimicking the original style. At least that's what I tried to go for. I don't know if I succeeded, but anyway. But kinda in the last moment I decided I would color this zoom in portrait first and make it more my style. So in part 2, I'm going to color the left side sketch and make it appear more original Natsume's author style. So stay tuned for part 2 in a couple of days. And now that I'm done placing the base colors, I'm going to go with my usual shading technique, and I'm gonna place some extra layers on top of the existing ones to make some places more shaded and more contrast. There is one observation thing that I've noticed while working with alcohol-based markers for so long, and that is when I'm just placing the ink, and while it's still wet, it's nice to blend it during these few seconds while it is, if you want to do anything with like blending and mixing in different colors, like in Nebula part of the background of this drawing. But after a few seconds, it's going to dry out, if that makes sense. So alcohol-based markers is like a sped up version of painting. When you're just putting your color, like watercolor for example, is wet and you have to wait for a while for it to dry out completely, and then you will see the true color that will stay on the page, and it's usually lighter. So when I'm putting my first layer of shadows, I think they look perfect, and then when they dry out they look too bright, if that makes sense. So I have to put either another layer of that or use a darker marker or like another hue, like a purple or something that will appear darker on the base skin. It depends on the skin color obviously, but like in this case with brighter tone of skin of the character, I have to use something more contrast to beige color, which is purple or blue. So in order to make or achieve the more saturated shadows, I need to mix in some of those colors as well. Not to mention that skin is not plain toned. It always has some extra colors here and there, especially on the face because of the thin skin features. Some of the places appear darker, like naturally, for example under the eyes. Oftentimes people have darker spots like I do. I don't know about you, but my eyes are always with dark circles. I have a perfect reference of myself and these dark circles around my eyes. So in case I need to make a very detailed portrait or a zoom in portrait, I can look in my mirror and mimic the same dark spots. Like if you don't have a perfect reference out there, you can just look at your own body. So that's a little life hack that I will share with you today. You have to keep those nuances in mind when you're coloring faces of your characters to make them look more alive, because if you just use one color for the whole shading, and it's just gonna look flat and like a zombie. So if you think your characters look a little bit dead dead inside, you can add up some more variety of colors on your character's skin, and that probably will do the trick. I'm no expert, by the way. I'm just saying what I have noticed with all the years of drawing and coloring, and also looking through hundreds and hundreds of tutorials. Many artists are saying the similar things, so you might want to check other artists out as well. But I also appreciate that you check out my own videos and artwork. Thank you very much for your support. It means the world. What I like about Natsume's design is that how his hair is so bright and contrasting with his dark eyes. I love hazel eyes and I rarely get to draw them, so I'm glad I'm doing this close-up portrait of him so I can enjoy putting the dark colors in the pupils and practice a little bit with my browns. Do you know many characters with brown eyes? Because I think about it and I cannot really recall any other character with such beautiful brown eyes. So if you know any character with pretty eyes like Natsume's, let me know. I want to draw some of them and have a sketchbook page filled with brown eyes. Yeah, somehow all of my characters, they have either colorful eyes like blue or yellow or pink, but never brown. I should make a character with brown eyes for sure. Maybe even somebody for Lyria World. Also, brown eyes remind me of my sister because she has beautiful hazel eyes and I miss her. If you're watching this, sending hugs, sis. While doing the line art, I felt that the background was still a little empty, so I just went for some random patterns with my liner and added a little extra detailing for that. And then I decided to finish the things up with acrylic paint pen for the highlights on Natsume's eyes and also to fill in the color of his kimono. I tried adding some highlights to his darker kimono, the purple one, but I didn't like how it looked, so I just went over again with my alcohol-based marker and covered it up, because kimonos are usually not made with the plastic-like cloth and or like material, you know, the shiny one, so white highlights would be too much of a shininess on the cloth like Natsume's kimono. So I reconsidered my life choices and fixed that little misunderstanding of mine. Let's pretend you didn't see anything. And after a magic of some final touches, I am done. Thank you very much for watching and joining me on drawing Natsume today. Stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to color the left side sketch of this beautiful spread. And as always, if you want to support my channel and my work, you can leave a comment, a like, and subscribe to this channel. See you in part 2. Bye bye.